Hey guys, it's Coco Tarot back again with another message. We're just going to get right into it and see what the collective needs to know today. I was getting a quote by, I don't know how to say the name really, Bjork, Bjork. And the quote was, "I am half child, half ancient." And I feel as if this quote really resonates with the collective as of now because your inner child has awakened. And I feel as if it not only has it had a temper tantrum, but it's also awakening this like ancient wisdom inside of you. You know, children and babies in particular, they're very perceptive to things that we can't see. I'm also thinking about cats and how their pupils can see like photosynthesis and certain things, especially when they get the zoomies. So I feel as if right now you have the spiritual zoomies, okay? And you are kind of like half child, half ancient, discovering this part of yourself that has been screaming to come out for a long time, that temper tantrum. Tell me more about the collective. What's going on with the collective right now? I'm going to get the cards out and then we're going to go into it. What's going on with the collective? Tell me about the collective. The comic. That's what I mean. It's like this funny energy. The father, okay? Some of you guys could be addressing a father wound. You could be becoming a father. You could be dealing with a masculine energy. But what it really is, it's kind of like your child energy is meeting your divine masculine, regardless of what you identify as. It's meeting your divine masculine, and it's creating this space of, I just heard Looney Tunes and wisdom. And you see this cat here, it kind of looks like it's crying with the green. So your heart chakra is awakening. You could be experiencing bursts of emotions and you don't really know where they're coming from. And it's your body signaling something to you. Your emotions, that's why sometimes it's not good to just follow your emotions. It's good to recognize your emotions because they're a signal. Okay, so I'm feeling like your body is signaling something to you. Clarify this. Some of you guys could be becoming fathers or mothers or parents. That won't be for all of you. What's going on with the collective? The power of love, investment, gambles, and other games, your creations, games, play. There's something here where you're going to be able to feel like you can play and have life again in your life. There's something here where for a long time things were very structured, or you had to learn things a certain way, you had to do things a certain way, and you're shifting into this energy where you can play and experience games of some sort. Comedy, humor, you know what I mean? Rest and anger. Wow. That's really interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of things that you have suppressed and it's coming out right now in this period. Like all of these emotions are coming out of you. So right now what I'm hearing is taking deep breaths. I want you to take a deep breath and really understand that what is surfacing right now, it's something that has been building, something that has been needing to surface for a long time. And now that it's surfacing, your body's going to start to shift into this feeling of overwhelming emotions, okay? I'm hearing Cancer energy. Like you could be crying a lot. You could be experiencing like anger that you've pushed aside coming up and boiling over. And it's really interesting because even with the rest and anger and the father and the comic, the father energy is like structure, logistics mixed with the comic, and like the rest and the anger, you're experiencing extremes right now in your emotional state. And you could feel like, am I crazy? What's going on? I thought I worked on this, or I thought I was, more centered than this. But it's almost as if this is the next phase of some kind of journey that you're on. Things could feel very black and white right now. So one minute you're up, the next minute you're down. One minute you have this giant revelation and you can feel closer to enlightenment. And the next minute you feel like, oh my God, I'm being dragged back into the pits of hell. And it can be really tough. So right now, be very careful with your body, with your mind, with your spirit. Try not to judge yourself right now, because I think judging the process is going to put you in like a flight or flight or anxiety, or make you feel like, oh my gosh, like I'm losing progress. Don't judge the process right now. Let yourself feel things. Some of you guys, you could be crying so much that you almost feel like you're in a daze or a haze, or there could be arguments surfacing in the home or at work with, it just feels like a festering. I just heard a festering of a wound. There was a wound that you had that never really got treated properly. I'm thinking about like a rib that breaks but can't really be put back into place, and you kind of have to live with that piece of the rib just kind of jetting out a little bit. There's something here where nothing really helped your wound. It just kind of grew over itself and festered a little bit. I just heard a divine comedy. You're gonna have moments where things are gonna come full circle and your perspective is gonna shift, and it could be almost funny, but it's like a bittersweet energy. I'm hearing like sour grapes. You know what I mean? It's like a little bit bittersweet, and it has comedy to it, but there's also pain. There's a lot of pain here, collective. You're having this revelation. You're like, oh my gosh, this is exactly why I do this pattern, or this is exactly why I fall into this trap, or end up back in these habits. You're realizing something about your mode of, I'm hearing modus operandi, about how you've been structured, how you've been taught. You're almost like a child. You're having to be retaught. It's making me think of like MK Ultra victims, or people who have experienced an insane amount of trauma and brainwashing that completely dictates the way that they live their life. So right now, I feel as if you're realizing the brainwashing. You're realizing the parts of your personality, or that you thought were your personality, were just things that were projected onto you through your trauma or through the people you interact with. You could be finding out right now, like, about false idols or people that you put on pedestals, seeing the humanness in them, seeing the era of their ways, okay? With that father energy here, I'm getting a very specific storyline. If you have dealt with relationship problems or infidelity problems, I'm feeling like it kind of stemmed from the home. This is just an example. It doesn't have to be your situation, but it's like for your whole life, putting your father energy on a pedestal and believing like, you know, my father is a hero, or this masculine energy is a hero. And then growing up to find out that masculine energy maybe had infidelity issues, or maybe used to cheat a lot on your mom, or, you know, something of that nature, where you realize like, oh my gosh, this is why I do certain things in a relationship, even not romantic or just dealing with people. Realizing, you know, your mother's pain in that. You know what I mean? Your mother's anger. You know, the fact that the person that you put on a pedestal was the reason for somebody else that you loved experiencing so much pain. You know, that doesn't have to be your situation, but it's almost like that. It's like realizing I've been fed lies. I don't know who I am, and I have to rediscover that. You could be figuring out, like, when did this start? When did this habit of mine start? Why did I pick up that drink in the first place? Why did I feel the need to, you know, lean on substances or lean on toxic people? You're realizing your modus operandi. And that's why it's that half child, half ancient energy, because you're becoming aware of the parts of yourself that have been influenced and structured by false idols or false heroes. Okay, this can cause a lot of anger. I'm thinking about maybe some of you guys, you were children and your parents went through a divorce, okay, at a young age. And maybe you internalized this and didn't realize that. Okay, as children, we take everything inside and internalize it. And that's why around your teenage years or your early 20s, it kind of becomes externalized, because we're shifting into a place of independence. We come out of the home, we have all these tools, we start to use them, and then we start to realize through our interactions, like, some of the tools that I was given, they felt like structure at the time, but now it's a hindrance. It's something that holds me back. Okay, so there's something here where you guys are kind of figuring out where certain things stem from. Are they your personality? Are they your mental illness? Are they a physical illness? Are they something someone imposed on you? This could even be in your romantic relationships. You realizing, like, how do I love? Do I love from a place of how I actually want to love and be loved? Or is this something that I've just implemented based on the people I have loved? What is love to me? What makes me feel loved? What makes me feel cherished? What makes me feel like I have structure, as opposed to living out these black and whites that other things and people and places have put onto you? This could even be in the form of trends. Like, who are you without the trend? You're stripping down right now, and as you're stripping down, your inner child is awakening, but also your ancient soul energy, your DNA. It's like you're being activated. And I know you probably hear that in a lot of tarot readings, or a lot of tarot readers are like, you're being activated, but this is something from your core. you're realizing the way I've projected love into the universe has been a false identity in a way. And we can only really, we're only really going off of what we're taught. So there's something here, collective, where this rediscovery is completely new for you. And you're going to have to be patient with yourself. You're going to have to be kind to yourself, and you're going to have to not judge yourself for your thoughts. Even, if you fall back into actions that you didn't want to do and you immediately go into that shame loop where you're like, time to shame myself and pray and feel bad. It's like, what if instead of judging yourself, you witnessed and noticed what you did and wrote down a way that you could do something differently next time? Or decided, I no longer want to do this action because it doesn't fit with who I want to be. Who do you want to be? Because I feel as if who you've been, you're realizing it's just a projection of not even of who people wanted you to be, of just your structure, that father energy. There could be mother wounds here as well. I'm definitely feeling like even if you had good parents that like loved you and were home all the time, there's still, I think people forget that relationships are relationships. And especially, even if you had parents that were married, there can be more drama in marriages than in just like parents who aren't. You know what I mean? So I feel like even if you feel like you grew up in a very good home, a structured home, a home that helped you, there's still some things that you're figuring out that you feel like hindered you, or you're like, well, this is why I compare myself to others, or this is why I compete with others, this is why, I cheat on my lovers, or this is why I accept people cheating on me. There's something here where you're just realizing, like, where does this come from? And it's coming from the home, that Cancer energy. We're going to get into the tarot and dive more into this. Let me move this down really quick. Can you tell me more about this energy with the collective? Tell me more. What's going on? I feel like the tarot is really going to spell it out. You guys be easy on yourself right now, okay? Be easy on yourself. And I think it would be good for a lot of you guys to journal what's going on right now. Even if it's a place that you don't really feel proud of, or you're in a hard time, journal right now, because there's something about you looking back at this period and it being, I'm hearing a course of action, or a place where you're like, this is where it began. This is where I started to really discover who I wanted to be and create that for myself. So I don't know, even if you're like blog or something, there's something here about, even if you don't share it with people, record your progress. Okay. And even just seeing that and going back and reading it, you'll witness things like, oh, I have done that, or oh, I have changed this behavior. Get something out on paper, on video, and you don't have to post it or share it, or you could share it. Okay. The Queen of Wands in reverse. Yeah, because you're struggling with who you are. Okay. You're struggling with who you are. It's giving me, oh my gosh. It's making me think, wow. A lot of fears here. It's making me think of like, I love to write. You know what I mean? I love to write. It's one of my favorite things in the world. And sometimes I think about like, man, what if I didn't have my hands? Or what if I didn't have the ability to think of stories anymore? What if, you know what I mean? What if I had the thing I cherish the most in terms of like my personality and what I feel like gives me purpose, if that was taken away? How else could I implement that purpose in other ways? So you guys could be asking yourself this. I don't know why that was brought up. Like, that's feel like you've lost things that you can't get back, or you've lost things that were a part of you, and you could be trying to fill those empty parts. Tell me more about the collective. That was really interesting. That was like a total fear state. You guys are in some kind of fear state. Why did I pick up on that? If there could be something that you really cherish right now, or you really love, and you're worried about losing it. This came up in a pick a card reading I just posted. Some of you guys could resonate with that reading. I'll put it in the description, but it's like someone here is afraid of losing something. Like, so afraid. I'm seeing you digging your claws into it because you're so afraid of losing it. And it doesn't have to be a person. It could be like a job, or clarify this. Maybe other people put you on a pedestal for some of you. This could be, you could feel a lot of pressure. Like people rely on you. The Divine Comedy really speaks about Dante's Inferno and that soul's journey through hell in order to find God and salvation. So there's really something here where you're being stripped of everything and having to realize from a soul core level Who are you, collective? Who do you want to be? What do you want to feed? It's a big, big, big experience. It could feel like the weight of the world. Like there's a lot at stake or something. The Two of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands. Or the Prince of Wands. Clarify the Two of Pentacles and the Prince of Wands in reverse. The Five of Wands. Yeah, lots of fights. This could even be fights with your ego. I'm seeing you actually confront that negative self-talk, that voice inside of your head. I'm seeing you really look yourself in the mirror and confront something. And it has to do with your habits, your way of life, your modus operandi. You're holding yourself accountable. And you're also holding the people around you accountable as well. And this could be causing fights and arguments because sometimes when we elevate in the spirit, it can really shed light on the people that we've surrounded ourselves with. And they could look different. As you start to look different and feel different, the people around you start to shift as well. It's crazy how that happens, how, that's why they say you can't really change the world, you have to change yourself. Because the second you start to change yourself and dive in to that, like Dante's Inferno, that divine comedy, everything around you shifts. Your possibilities, your opportunities, the people you attract. And you start to see beyond what's just there. You start to feel things. This is the feeling of being able to meet people and pinpoint what energies you want in your space and what energies you want to build boundaries with. Things could be looking ugly to you. Like, I don't know how else to describe that. It's like seeing the ugly side of things and having to witness that in order to appreciate beauty or love. For some of you guys, you could be holding a masculine energy in your life accountable. This could be yourself, or it could be that father energy. It's like you're really learning where something stems from. And I was just gonna say, it's the best thing for you. That's why you're gonna have to be patient with yourself. This is the best thing for you because it's your road to success. It's your road to finally being able to make a blessing tangible. I'm hearing that Bob Marley song. Is it 3 Little Birds or 2 Little Birds? Like, imagine being able to go to heaven after you've experienced hell. Do you know what I mean? It just makes it that much sweeter in a way. I also think that you're letting go of someone's expectation or ego or perception that they've placed upon you. So I'm getting that example again from earlier. If your father was a Rolling Stone, if your father you found out was someone who didn't have the best of character or morals, and their excuse for that could be like, well, that's just life, kid, or that's how it's got to be, or they don't hold themselves accountable. You could be, even if you're not saying I'm holding you accountable, in your spirit holding them accountable and being like, no, this is wrong. You can love someone, but you can also point out where they've hurt you or where they've had faults. Okay, so it doesn't have to be that specific example for you, but you're really understanding that you don't have to tolerate a certain behavior anymore. You don't have to idolize things. This could even be, it doesn't have to be that extreme, but this could even be in the form of finding out like, hey, my parents are human. My idols are human. The people I look up to, they're human. They have faults, they have mistakes. And it sounds easy on paper, but it could be an earth-shattering revelation to realize that the people you love the most could be the ones who really hindered your progression by having these expectations on you. The star just popped out. There's a lot of healing that needs to occur. You're having a lot of revelations. The Hangman and the Sun, you're finding out some ugly truths right now, collective. And you could want to like run away. There's a lot of anger here. There's a lot of you realizing that you self-sacrificed for no reason, that you gave a part of yourself for no reason. This could be feelings of, feeling underappreciated, or no matter how hard you try, you still end up suspended. Tell me more about this Five of Wands. What are these fights and arguments about? The High Priestess in reverse. They're about oh my gosh. It's because you're elevating. Okay, you've realized something. The High Priestess in reverse, the High Priestess is a very spiritual card. She's connected to like that divine energy. But in reverse, it's trusting the wrong guidance. You trusted the wrong person. You took advice from someone who wasn't practicing what they preached. Okay, you made life decisions based off what somebody said, and that person wasn't even in that same energy of having the high morals, but they were still telling you, you have to do it this way. You have to do it this way from a position of hypocrisy. And this is what you're realizing, that the things you have been fed, the things you have been taught, they came from a place of hypocrisy because the people who told you to do those things, the people who influenced you, the people who said this is the best choice for you, it was their way of deflecting their own energy. So if you had a parental figure or a father energy who was telling you to do the right thing, but meanwhile they're at home giving your mother energy hell or not doing the right thing in aspects in their life, them telling you to do the right thing was their way of being like, oh, okay, well, at least my child did the right thing. Well, at least I influenced them to have the right morals without holding themselves accountable. So, even if it isn't a father energy, this could be a friend, like a bot. There's something here where you've been fed the wrong information and you're realizing that now, and it's causing fights and arguments. This could be in the form of changing religions or just realizing that it's not what you thought it was. And there's comedy to it. It's like, oh, wow, it's the opposite of what I thought. The exact opposite. So this is a big lesson for you. There's a lot of anger here. And with the High Priestess in reverse, anger and the High Priestess in reverse is like metaphorically slinging curses. Or, you could be cursing a lot or cursing someone out or just, there's a lot of lashing out. It's realizing your spiritual power, but using it to target others because of the vengeful energy that you feel. So this could be like, when sometimes Christians will start like slewing out Bible verses, like they're freaking Harry Potter, Avada Kedavras. You're like, dang, you know what I mean? I don't think that's what God meant when he said that, but it's like that. So be mindful of, the anger, because you are realizing a spiritual power. And you don't want to start your spiritual journey in vengeance of other people. You want to start your spiritual journey in creation of yourself and your path toward God or the divine, whoever you believe in. The Four of Pentacles. In reverse. A lot of these cards are coming out in reverse. Someone could have fed you lies in order to keep you in a certain spot, to hold you back. They didn't want you to realize something. Someone could have told you lies about someone. For a few of you, this is the opposite. Someone told lies about you to another person and they believed it and they acted on those lies, and now they're being suspended by the truth that that person lied to them about you. Regardless of where you sit in this position, a lot of lies are being uncovered, and it's hard for you to hold back, or it's hard for parties to hold back in this situation because the lies that are being uncovered are like big lies, big secrets. It's making me think of how like sometimes, the best marriages or the best relationships, platonic or romantic, they have no secrets. Everything is on the table. And it's almost like now that everything's on the table, it completely distorts the picture of what you thought or what. Hey guys, so the camera cut off and the Six of Cups and the Ace of Cups came out. I don't really remember where I left off, but there's been a lot of lies that you've been fed. And as you're discovering all of these lies and realizing how many of them you internalized or other people's projections or just, the secrets, there's been a lot of secrets. And you're discovering them now. And it has you really questioning everything. When I mentioned earlier about MK Ultra victims or people who have experienced really severe trauma similar to that, I'm not saying you have, but they have to be brainwashed out of that. Almost in the same techniques that they were brainwashed into that lifestyle, they have to be brainwashed out of it. So you're really reprogramming yourself right now from all the things you've been taught. I think that your structure systems with that father energy, the adults in your life and the people in your life that were supposed to teach you structure, you're realizing that they taught you, I don't want to say bad morals, but things that really hindered you or hindered your relationships or weren't really the best things to be teaching in terms of structure. This is why that energy of half child, half ancient is coming up. Because although you have gone through life and acquired wisdom and learned a lot of things, you're still a bumbling child trying to figure out that structure and that place of security. Love is protection. Okay? When you love something, you protect it. And I think you're realizing that you weren't protected in a lot of ways. You took on a lot of burdens that weren't meant for you. I don't know when the camera cut off, but I was talking about how someone could be trying to live morally through you while still engaging in corrupt behaviors themselves. So this is like a parent who refuses to change, but they project this energy of you having to be the moral high ground of the family when they themselves are exhibiting behaviors that you struggle with. There's a lot of tears here, but they're the kind of tears where you're also laughing because you're realizing, oh, that's how it really was, or that's how it really is. The Queen of Wands, she's very much about appearances. And right now, in the past, you could have thought love was, not that it was appearances, but it had a lot to do with appearances and saving face and keeping secrets for the family and making sure that the family looks good. But you're realizing real love is being able to have trust and security and protection, and there's no secrets. Everything is left on the table. And secrets kill relationships. Okay? Secrets and lies and having to, compartmentalize, like I can't say this or I can't do this, but I know this. I don't know when the camera cut off, but I talked about if you had a parent that would take you along to do debauchery or things and then reward you with an ice cream or whatever, you took on so much. You don't have to be the moral high ground for an entire group of people. You don't have to live your life and structure yourself modeled off what other people feel is best for you. You and God know what's best for you on a soul level. I think you're done with the games and the lies. And I'm seeing someone put the board game away, put away the Monopoly, and go on to something else. It's like, I don't want to play this game anymore. This game of lies, this house of cards, this walking on eggshells, pretending everything's fine when it's not. Going through hell before you get to heaven can be rough. But when you look back, this will be the most important trek that you've ever taken on your spiritual journey. But that is your reading for today, guys, and I'll be back soon with another message. Toodaloo.